Right. Everybody was like, no. And then he was one, P9 was on there doing the same thing that he was doing now. So I saw that, I was like, sneaking. No, the people said what they said. A lot of them had questions for you. And what we said was ask them. And people did.
It's fine. I just want to say, wait. Hey, if people gonna be walking around calling themselves your junior, you make sure they pay you for that. Make sure he gets on your
no, listen. No. Y'all not gonna be dictating how my people move.
I love the Don. I love Don. I love Don Anton. I love Don Anton. Don Anton. You sit here and
people that rep or be perfect with fraternities and sororities, you cannot do that. You go to a college.
We don't know. No, he's saying pretty articulate.
It's fine. Let me finish.
Oh, okay, my bad. Sorry.
Let me finish.
You know I'm gonna see you. You know I'm gonna see you in real life tomorrow. So
absolutely, no problem.
Okay.
And I'm stand beside it. I'm for you. You do not want, and I'm not saying diminishing anything he got going on, but if I'm going to have somebody walking around claiming all of the knowledge that I'm dishing out, I will hope that you are pouring into what I'm doing and not just taking free game and walking around using your name. I'm standing up for you.
Listen, this is all I know. Junior. This is all I know. He was giving K that word.
Yeah, y'all are so far.
He was giving K that word, and K is trying to deflect from it.
And Anton, you know what's pathetic? The fact that you would take that random work from B9 against me and take it as a point of pride.
It don't.
Strange.
It's not a point of pride. I just
he was
out here. He was talking that talk.
He wasn't forming coherent sentences.
Yes, he was. As your fellow educator, he was very much able to communicate his point of view.
I want to know what students he teaching though. I want to know what students B9 teaching. That dude looked like he was like in the deepest of bunkers. Like, get over there, young junior. That's right. Oh man, I was tripping. I was tripping.
Do you see all I'm saying? It's so weird. All I'm saying is that being a Patreon member, I think it's a little bit more.
What's up, E Black?
He ain't no good. It's not a guess.
It's funny because so many people have this obsession with me in terms of proving me wrong or saying I'm this or that. What's up, E Black? No.
E Black, you see what's happening? She's exhibiting the exact behavior that he highlighted and called out. She's living the exact.
You don't even know that man. I know him.
I know what he said.
What did he say?
He said that you was unruly. Yes, he did. He said that you are not extending the same courtesy to the men on the panel that you're extending to Kevin Samuels. That's unruly. And then he broke down his profile and he started running down because he was like, "Who is you?" And he was like, "Well, let me show you."
The fact that y'all don't see.
Come get this work.
The fact that y'all don't see this very clear thing where people just want me to feel some kind of way all the time. It's a problem.
That's what happens when you. That's what happens when you try to stand on the fact that you never wrong, but you wrong.
You feel like somebody in the comments that me and you argue like brother and sister, and I absolutely agree. And
hey, you gotta guess.
Why you not every time we have a guest? He's talking to
you.
Look at him.
Come on.
It's only me, but it's
What's your thoughts? Hey, what's going on, guys? Courtney, cousin
What's going on, my guy?
What's going on, my guy, JR? Hey, Lauren, Rilla,
Hey, darling.
Anton, how you guys doing?
That's my guy.
Man, Lord have mercy. My ears are bleeding, but
What'd you think about Buttercup?
Man, I'm not gonna address that situation, but like I said, I kind of wanted to talk about the community growth thing. I believe that Black men should have male leadership in their community, and that dictates growth. I also believe that Black men should be developing more curriculum.
Yeah.
How you don't give
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
My bad, that was accidentally.
So he and
This is all good, my guy.
I see my $12 can.
Oh my God, you really gonna go after this?
But
Okay, I'm not arguing anything.
I'm not expecting you to. I just didn't know that
KS called himself. He's been called the Godfather.
Free
Yes.
hospitals for the community that was actually coming over. And they were able to use that power to get legislation. So I think we talk about growing for
You
community.
can't argue with the results.
Grow for Black.
You may not like what he says. You may not like how it sounds and how it makes you feel, but you cannot argue the
As long as
results.
you're relying on another community, then that community can take away anything from you, and then you're
And a mirror is a
on that
really
community.
good
You
test.
see it a lot in the Asian community where you don't even know you're walking by an Asian bank. Sometimes you don't even realize you're walking by an Asian corporation because they have their
You can't say,
language on the
you
building.
cannot
That's
say he
community
has
growth.
anything to do with that.
So, I think definitely grow your Black community first, and then we can address other communities because
He
we
ain't
can
got
then
no
rely on
kind
ourselves
of,
when we get the
no kind of
retaliation.
say so how, you just don't.
I'm sorry if I'm not in the mood for joking. My ears were really bleeding, and I'm kind of like.
No, I hear you. It's like I agree. I like that black and proud in the back.
Oh yeah, I was gonna put another message up there, but I was gonna put another message, but I didn't want to get totally banned.
Hey, another one of K's inductees.
It's like
He just.
You need to relax, Anton.
You
Relax.
don't even say nothing.
I'll take E Black all day. You take B9.
He just
Wait a minute. He
just washed
Now I
you.
see why come.
He just got done taking you through the rinse cycle. You
Going
don't
out
sit here and talk about.
B9?
He wants
Yes,
his
he
throne.
just took you through the rinse cycle.
They
He
should
just
just
did.
put the same throne. They
Yes.
That's because y'all, that's what.
That's just
Okay.
crazy.
My God. He
I
just
would
took you
just
through
give
the
them over to
rinse cycle.
Hades
By
all
saying
today.
I would wash B9.
That's
Sorry.
just crazy.
And then I watched E Black on my own show
Exactly.
personally. So
Why?
How
we two and up.
I-
We two and up.
I-
Yes, I watched E Black on my show. I watched
Oh,
it.
JR, I'm sick.
He didn't pull up on me. I missed
E
it.
Black. E Black. Being objective. E Black. Being objective. That I watched you when you came on my show. Objectively, real talk.
He may
No.
have some success.
Because if you let the
He may have that.
now hold on.
He may have
Why is that profound, JR? Like,
Because it's funny.
I think it's because I got this red light special going on. I got this red light
E
special.
Black. I watched you,
I'm
bro.
glad you watched. I'm glad you brought that up.
Go ahead and say it. You was about to say it. You glad I watched you?
If you look at the comments, it's literally 50-50. Now, if you take my comments away, which they were deleted,
No. Hold on. First of all, I don't delete no comments.
all
Sometimes
my comments are
YouTube,
deleted.
no. YouTube flags comments, and then they hold them for review. But I never, ever delete any comment. You know that. You like, don't start doing that. You got to watch, bro.
Okay, like I said, if you look at the comments, you will see that people are 50-50. It's a 50-50 argument. People understand it. But like I said, I understand my comments got deleted. All the conversations got deleted.
Well,
It's you won. Go ahead. You the big man. You in power. Oh, good.
I know. I beat you. B9 washed K. So I don't know who's picking these teams, but that wouldn't be
if
good.
that makes you feel good, Anton.
Yeah, that's good.
No, no. Everybody watched. Let me pull up the comments.
Everybody.
B9 watched her.
Yes.
B9.
Anton, let me explain something to you. Let me explain
yes,
it.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So sometimes when people like y'all know the position I play on this show. Y'all know that people Y'all
play
know.
you.
I know I do.
Better
It's
you.
myself. I'm not saying I'm being an actress or whatever, but I'm saying you know the position I'm in on this show. So when there are people that
Feminist,
just
earthy,
are
yes, we get it.
whatever. So when there are people that are so thirsty to prove me wrong, to humble me and all this, they'll pick anybody, even Behind, as their winning moment.
You really think you stood a
Even
chance?
though he didn't say anything,
Jesus.
that's how it goes.
Okay. Honestly, I'm gonna put you in my prayers.
Don't pray for me.
Okay, well, leave you to wallow in your own. in your
They're so
own.
thirsty. They're like, hey, la, la, la. They're just thirsty. It's really weird, but I welcome. It's fine. It's real weird though.
Mm.
But nah, Anton, don't pray for
Alright,
me.
like, what's your final point? You black? Yeah.
No, my final point, I'm sorry, is, KG, I'll line him up with any of Anton's goons and we can go ahead up, no problem.
You'll
Line
line
him
up.
up.
Why you disrespecting my people, bro? Calling them goons, man. I love my people.
Goons, googlers, goblins.
Whoa, Anton, who are your people?
Alright, man, yeah.
Let me tell you something. One thing that really know, my army is monstrous right now.
But wait, when you said you love your people, who are you talking about?
Talking about my people that rock with me, my Patreon members,
Oh.
the tribe, my army. I'm building a
Are
massive
we part of
army.
your people?
Lauren, Courtney, sometimes. Sometimes Courtney is. When JR and Rilla is definitely a part
Oh,
of
so
it.
anything you're saying, I'm not your person.
You the one that we
No, not we. I'm asking you.
Hey, you know how on football they gotta use a
No.
practice squad? You're part of the practice squad.
I'm asking you
You're part of the
directly.
practice squad.
Anton, tell me directly.
Oh my goodness.
People have already called us brothers and
That
sisters.
can stop my
In the chat and
my writing
Fuck
process.
no.
With
I'm never gonna be indoctrinated by the type of use. I seen your brothers and sisters.
Anton, listen.
I seen Foolie and your Buttercup come up on here. What? Guess that. Those are not my brothers and sisters.
Anton,
Ever.
listen.
See, this is the see. I can't even get if you was to ever even recruit me to be a part of this whole black movement thing that you got going on over there, and then I showed up to a meeting and I seen no suckers in there, I'm walking right out.
Oh, you boys.
I see Buttercup and Foolie in that
Don't
meeting.
call him that.
I'm getting the hell out of that room. Because that room is worth nothing.
Bruh.
It's worth nothing.
I see what you're doing.
Not even 2 nickels. You can get those suckers right on up out of there. They probably gonna be in. You see how beta Simpy was?
Are you going to teach
I mean, my
this
girl is
child
right
that
here,
we
but I
adopted
don't know.
about
I like love.
betas,
Like,
alphas?
They're gonna learn that from school.
That's
That's not gonna be my
They not
fault.
going there from school.
Cockroach.
Oh, I used to
Wanna
work in
be
the school
black
system.
power.
Okay.
Flag in the back
Sweetheart.
of my man. Get out of here.
Okay.
But Anton, you're not
They
black
don't
power
learn that
at
in no
all.
school system.
You don't even identify and
Okay,
align with
just saying.
black people.
Baby, if they don't know
So
about
how are you
Cassidy,
having anything to
Yeah,
say
yeah,
They don't know
about
about
yeah,
Trayvon
anybody
Martin.
who is?
yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
your
What does that have to do with
realm
beta
of
or
things to
simp?
talk about.
But you know what's so interesting about that though?
They're gonna learn that
What?
from school.
Is that
They're gonna learn it from
I
kids
don't
in school. I'm
identify
just
as
telling you.
that.
No,
Yes,
I
I've
do
done more for the
Okay.
black
I'm
community
trying
than you and
I'm
your
trying
friends
to
did.
tell you.
How does that work?
Anybody
Oh,
has
we
done
know.
for
Let's
the
go to
black
receipts.
community.
Let's go to what have you done
Just
for the black community?
Show me
They don't
yours
know
first.
about Trayvon
Okay.
Martin.
Yes,
You
Orlando
know my
Cassidy.
stuff is online. Like my
What
whole
is
life
on
is
it?
documented.
Show me
You
what
can
you're
see me in the hood.
I can't think because the mouse going off too much. Just like if they don't know about Orlando Castile and Trayvon Martin, I'm not saying that they are relevant. I ain't saying that. What I am saying is if it's similar, if it's something really big, like Trayvon Martin, Tamar Rice, Orlando Castile, if it's something that big,
How you get on?
and if it's something Like, you can go ahead and put on list. I like this guy. This is Rolo, whatever his name is.
Wait,
It's
Bolo.
hard. My
Okay, what
receipt.
have you done?
What? I'm
What
an
have you done?
educator at an all-black school, and I've been doing so.
You
for
get
the last-
paid for that. That's your job.
You
You
don't.
don't get you don't get rewarded for getting paid for that, fam.
How to get on a YouTube live stream.
You get paid as a teacher. That's your job.
Here's a summary from Google
You're not doing
support.
that out of the kindness
To
of
live
your
Are you
heart.
stream
It's
on
not
saying?
coming out of
Are
your
you
at
pocket.
least
saying
1,000
that black
subscribers.
educators are just useless?
On your phone or tablet,
You're
open the
getting
YouTube app.
paid.
I'm
You're
asking you.
putting in your
From the
time
bottom,
I'm
for
asking
currency.
you.
You don't
I'm
get
asking
credit
you.
for that.
Enabling your first live
You don't
stream
get-
may
you don't
take
get
up to
credit.
24
Yes
hours.
or no? Do you think
No,
black
everybody
educators?
has value.
Okay, so are you saying that
You don't
black
get- You
educators
don't get credit for that as a part of your
still do
your
you
trump
think
card to say what you're
that
doing.
black educators do not
What have you
deserve?
done? No, stop trying to change the subject. What have you done specifically for the black community that warrants you to even be able to have a conversation with somebody like me who got real receipts?
What's your receipt? Show me.
Stop, Kay. You trying to change the subject. What have
No,
you
I'm
done?
not. I'm trying to get your receipt.
You know what I've done. What have you done?
No, I don't.
Look, why you keep deflecting? What have you done? Answer the question.
You
Name me
won't
one
tell me
thing
what
that you've
you
done for the
did.
black community.
You're like, I have receipts. I have a YouTube video. Give
Why
me
she
the
not-
receipts.
Why is she not answering?
Give me the receipts. Why you not answering? I guess we're the standoff man time. I guess we're the
Yeah.
standoff.
We gonna call out all of these fake protesters, these fake woke people that's talking all of this black. They think just because they read a bunch
I
of
get
books
real touchy
and they ain't
about
actually
black
did
educators.
nothing for nobody, ain't put a dime in the community, ain't
I
done
haven't done anything for
ain't
anybody.
did
Hey,
anything
I'm a
for
black
nobody
educator
but
too.
go
What
on
have
I
you
ain't talking
done?
about the black movement.
and
I'm
post
just
a
black
bunch of
educator.
stuff on
And
Facebook
You know what
and
happens to
think
black
that they can
educators?
hold a
You know what
candle
happens
to
to
me
us? We
whatsoever.
get put
What
on
have you
our
I do
Okay.
houses,
because we're
I
not
give away
respected.
money,
We're not
I
like our
mentor
white
young men,
counterparts.
I go and
Fuck
speak
the
at
whole.
schools,
We need to be together.
I employ these
You wanna
people.
come to my school?
Teachers as a whole
No,
get
hell
the
no.
Why?
screw you over.
Why?
But who
I
gets
ain't coming.
the brunt of it?
Hell no. I ain't coming.
Black
That's-
teachers.
No way, no how.
So you're not
So,
really okay.
don't-
So what have you done? Give me something.
Don't
Give me
fuck with
anything. I'll
educators.
take your word for it.
No.
No, you tell me what you did.
No, you just said I just
Could you
did.
pause it for a second?
No, you didn't. You're giving me these
I gave you
vague.
a
It's
small.
the same. It's just like as big as knowing who Philando Castile is, or knowing who Tamar Rice is, or knowing who George Floyd is, or knowing who Atatiana Jefferson is. If they didn't know, when I asked them who Philando Castile was, do you think they're going to learn that? They're going to learn what betas and simps are in school? No.
Okay.
They're not going to learn that. I'm going to tell you what they're going to learn. They will learn this first before they learn anything else. The Illuminati.
Okay.
Now, that is something I do know for a fact.
I'm just saying.
I know you're just saying. I had many years in the educational system, and have many bad experiences in the educational system. One thing I can tell you is that from my personal experience, and other people can take it too, they talk about what happened down the street at Lil Nene and them house. They talk about who did what on Facebook. They talk about what happened on Instagram. They talk about how many dicks you can put in somebody's mouth.
Bolo.
Yeah, you can go Bolo.
All these
But
things.
They ain't gonna
No,
know
no,
about
you don't want to answer the
about
question.
no.
What's up,
They
brother?
ain't
You
gonna
got my
know
information.
Hey, we got a
about
guest.
Send
We got a
me
guest.
about no Philando
Send
Castile.
me the
Those
information.
What's up,
I
Bolo?
bet you I
Why
don't get it.
is Philando Castile
Yeah.
equated with
I bet I
beta
don't
simp?
get it.
Because of the weight, the gravity of it.
Let me explain it.
Yeah, we hear you. What's up?
Yeah.
Here's a guy or a dude who gives this girl everything. He's keeping her gifts. And then all of a sudden, his boys come on, man, you need to stop giving to her, bro. You a simp. Bro, you acting beta right now.
We got to take our emotions out of it.
That's what it. That's the reference. You're looking at it from like it's in the zeitgeist. It's gonna be there for the kids. I promise you, it's gonna be there.
brothers is off the chain.
I'll put money on it, but okay.
Light skin
I'll
cat,
put some money on it too,
Hannibal,
but I can tell you right now, it ain't
and
gonna be there.
you know,
What will
Anton, you
continue
know, I
to
rock
be
with you,
there
baby.
is the Illuminati. Because
You know,
everybody wants to
we gotta adopt that.
I'm a bully. I'm a bully, man. That's what I got to do sometimes.
Now,
Sometimes- listen.
you
to
can
be
argue me
be
down
honest though,
all
to be
you want
honest
to.
though,
You can be kicking
I
all you want to.
exposed the
This is what I
fact
can
that
tell
he
you right
came
now.
on here
If
with an
they
agenda
don't
before he
know
even got on the platform. He
the
admitted
weight
that
agenda.
he can't.
I'm
That he
talking
can't.
about
Kay's going to
how
defend
it
him
be
because it's a
compared.
friend.
No, I'm just
It's
asking,
high
what's
weight.
your agenda?
He admitted
If it has
that he
such a
came
high
on
weight,
here to show me up.
if
That was
they
his
don't
whole
know
goal.
what
He
beta
was not here to
sin
have a real
is,
conversation.
how you
He was not
expect
here to
the
add
weight
value
of
to the
that
platform. His
versus the
goal
weight
was to
of
get
who
on me
Tamar
and
Rice
show
was.
me up.
But you're putting that on the same level. That like Philando Castile
Because I can
is
smell
a mega
from
level.
mile away, and sometimes you gotta
Beta
go ahead
Simp
and make
is
the adjustment.
small.
It's not always.
It's not that
always
heavy.
Peaches and cream. Sometimes you gotta get dirty in the trenches. And
It's a zeitgeist. Philando Castile's history.
I agree with you when you have to
Nah,
find
I
someone
can't.
that's
That makes
close.
no sense.
But let me ask you this.
It makes no sense.
With the optics that you know you guys have
I'm
right now,
telling you, it's
right?
the weight.
And your platform
It
is
is the
growing.
weight.
If you would have outwitted
It's the gravity.
with just your logic and truth, do you think it would have meant more than how you did it?
No, sometimes you gotta. Personally, no. I think that sometimes that makes sense for certain people. So, like for example, when I went on the lead attorney show today,
Right.
I very much think that I won that debate. When I went on a platform with everybody, all of the red pill dudes yesterday, I
Right.
very much think that I won that debate. Right? It wasn't that type of show. But when somebody comes in with an agenda, I think that you got to pivot sometimes, and you got to make that adjustment. And so sometimes you got to get a little dirty. Sometimes you got to hold some people accountable. It was just different.
Agree with you that sometimes you gotta adjust. But let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question, then I'll move on. Would Christ have dealt with him in that manner?
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
No.
Nah, fam.
Heck yeah. Sometimes he went up in there like, no, y'all fake up in here.
And
He
then,
wasn't speaking in parables the entire time that he was on here. Sometimes he was showing them up like, yo, y'all fake. You
Gotta miss you on that one, Anton.
we not rocking with you.
Don, I gotta miss you on that one, baby.
We turning his face upside down. He absolutely.
did that, but here's the issue. He did that.
He did it, right? He did do that, right?
People know that he did. He did that inside the temple when they were gambling. Here's the thing. The point is, from what I saw and how you were dealing with dude,
It's wrong.
just with your knowledge alone, you was destroying him.
You were.
You didn't need to go to that point where you had to get to that point where he's calling you the P word, and Christ don't operate in that. I understand what you're saying. Sometimes you gotta move the situation a little bit to gain clarity. I get it. I understand it. I do it. But when it gets to the point that at the end of the day, you represent the Father. And the Lord tells you he's not in contentious conversation. I don't care how it is. He's not in contentious conversation at all. He didn't pick which one that he is. He said he's not in contentious conversation. Even though you revealed him, even though you did, you're too smart for that, brother. You're too smart for that.
I'll tell you what.
And
I'll go back and look at the tape, and I'll try to objectively hold myself accountable. And if that be the case, I'll publicly apologize and make the adjustment. I'm open to the possibility that I'm wrong. So if you're saying that there's something that I could have done differently and I need to look at it differently, I'm willing to do that because I respect you and I know you got my best interest at heart. I'll do that.
The other thing that I want to address is, you know, the whole duty of man is to serve our Lord and Savior, right? The whole duty of man. So when we talk about code and we talk about black and we talk about white and we talk about Asian and we talk about that, Christ don't rock with that. I understand that we have to deal with our people. I understand we need to help our people. I get that. I'm 100% with it. I rock with all of you on that. But when we're dealing with Christ, Christ don't deal with color. Christ deals with how you hold his statutes and commandments. That's what he deals with. That's paramount. So when you're talking about black, white, understand what the bigger picture and the bigger goal is. Man is trying to divide us. And he's doing a hell of a job. He's doing a hell of a job.
I agree.
We need to understand how we talk in how we move. Because when we speak black first, when we speak like that, we're pushing
The agenda.
prejudice. Understand what I'm saying?
Damn, Bolo.
I'm for my people. I get it. I understand my people are the last one to totem pole. Last hired, first fired. I get that. But our premise as Christ followers, and I know y'all probably getting tired of me saying it, but as Christ followers, our premise is to push his agenda, not ours. Now, through us pushing his agenda, we help those that are the weakest. We help those that need the most help. So if you're coming from that positioning, then you're 100%. We need to understand that everyone plays a position. And it always gets convoluted when we talk about it, right? Men are afraid to say what the position was, like the dude Hannibal was saying, that he was saying he didn't know what a woman's position is. Listen, let's stop playing this game. We're too late in the quarter to play this game. We're too late in the quarter. Women have a position to play and men have a position to play. The reason why the so-called black community is out of order is because no one wants to take command. And when I say no one, I'm meaning men. Let's just call it what it is. We understand women are out of order. Women follow power. If men got their act together, women would follow. Why? Because there's a certain order, there's a certain type of spirit that you command that you're not going to tolerate, and they would submit to that.
I don't know, Bolo. I don't know, Bolo.
That's it right there.
I think you're right, but I think two things can be true at the same time. At the same time, we got to hold these women accountable.
No one
And,
is
I'm going to tell you why.
saying that.
I'm going to tell you why. Because they can't have it both ways. You can't advocate for equal everything, get all of the benefits that come along with being a man, and then not have to hold yourself accountable in the way that we do. And that's the one thing. The only other thing that I feel like needs to be a part of this conversation, because
that goes against what Anton just said.
They can't keep,
because Anton's like, whoever's gonna rock with me, he's gonna rock with me. He's gonna stay in his presence, stay in his energy. He doesn't bend or submit to anybody else's idea. He will consider himself as a leader. He will consider himself as flawed. I will fix this.
And acting like, oh, but you're a man, you shouldn't deal with me like that. Well, you shouldn't even be in my face in the first place, and get your monkey face out of here and learn your place. So my point is that if you want to act like a man in every type of way, then you're gonna have to compete with it. Otherwise, get out the way. Right. Let us do what men do.
They both kind of sound good.
There should be some accountability. You can hold yourself accountable as far as being a priest of your household, but at the same time, we're gonna have to start.
Because I will say this: you started well. You've been submitted. But like after my reset, reawakening, you've been like, I'm gonna say, and you can feel the difference in me now.
When Eve sinned, who did God come to check first?
Say it again.
When Eve sinned, who did God come to check first?
Adam.
That's true. He checked the man, but he still checked the woman too. He didn't leave her; she wasn't unscathed.
No. That's not my point. I understand that women have to be held accountable. Everyone is going to be held accountable. There's no one that's not going to be held accountable. So let's just get that off the table. What I'm saying to you is, when the Lord comes sifting through, he's coming to the man first. The man is his wife. The man is his glory. He left man in charge. So he's going to deal with man first. Women are going to get it too. Don't get it twisted. They're going to get it too. But he's going to come to the father. He's going to come to the men. He's going to come to the leaders. He's going to come to the men. Why wasn't your house in order? That doesn't give her liberty to gallivant and be out of order. But why was your house out of order? It wasn't sin until Adam did it. The Lord is holding us to a higher esteem than the women, even though they're going to get dealt with. So I want to keep that abundantly clear. They're going to get dealt with. But we have to understand that it starts with you. It starts with me. When you want to destroy a nation, you don't destroy a nation through the women. You destroy a nation through the men. Men carry the seed, not women. It's men. So although women have been brought to a higher level than man in this backward world, we're dealing with the Lord. The Lord says, be of the world, but not in it. Be in the world, but not of it, excuse me. So we have to operate inside this world, but we don't operate inside the world, if you understand what I'm saying. So yeah, you're 100% correct, 100% correct. Women need to be dealt with. But the bigger issue are the men. Because look what happens when you take men out of the home. Look at the madness.
I don't know, Bolo.
What I'm saying to you is,
I don't know, Bolo.
let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a leak in the house and a fire in the house, what do you take care of first?
Say that again.
If you have a leak in the house and a fire in the same house, what do you take care of first?
Take care of the fire.
Why?
You should be taking care of the leak first.
Because it's gonna spread faster and burn up the house.
There you go. A leak will only damage the house. The fire will destroy the house.
Yeah, but Bolo, the problem with that is that to a larger extent, right? There's so many men that's at a disadvantage today, right?
I agree.
When you look at, for example, these family court laws that are archaic,
Right.
right? It's almost like the I don't want to call it refer to women just, but in general, but backwards ways in which we operate, right? The prisoners is running the institution now.
I agree.
Right? The way that America is set up is that your leaders are a reflection of the people that vote for them. So if you have the overwhelming majority of the people operating out of ignorance, thinking that they know something, you're going to have the inmates running the asylum, and the inmates to a larger extent are the majority of the population, which are the women. And so the question then becomes,
Right.
how do you rein it in?
This is how we do it, right? Because what you're dealing with is a symptom of, you're dealing with a branch of the tree. You're dealing with a symptom. The reason why our people are out of order, let's just consolidate it. The reason why our people are out of order and our people are off the chain is because the fathers are out of the home. And when the fathers are out of the home and there's no order in the home, when you don't have that scanner, when you don't have that antivirus to scan what comes into the computer, then anything and everything will come in. And this is the direct reflection of that happening. So women being out of order, our children being out of order, all these things going on are symptoms to the problem, right? So now we understand women are off the chain. So I don't think I have to keep repeating that. We understand they're off the chain. The fire is getting our men in order. Because women, although they can do damage, they don't do as much damage as men do.
Oh, I can't, bro.
No, listen to my point when I say that. Women will do damage through the law. Women will run the man through court, take his license, get him all that, and that's a big thing. So I'm not making little of it. Men kill each other. We kill each other. We sell drugs. That's the point what I'm trying to say when I say we do more damage. We understand in the law, women are the chief of it. When we're talking about physical damage in our community, when it comes to man, like you said before, you said that you got carjacked. Did you get carjacked by women?
Nope.
You got carjacked by guys, right?
But the thing that I'm saying is that, again, two things can be true at the same time. I don't think, okay, so this is what I'm emphasizing. I don't think that you can completely fix the problem just by holding men accountable.
I'm not saying only hold men accountable. I told you, what do we do?
I think that you're going to get a large gap in the results. If you got every man together today, I think you're still going to have a large gap in the results of what it is that you're looking for.
This is the issue. The reason why our men are acting like women, our young men are acting like women, having the tendencies of women. I say if they're gay, they have the tendencies of women not being able to articulate how they feel. They're very temperamental and very emotional. Because of what? Because why?
You tell me.
Because there's no men in the home. That's why. If these men are more intentional, because again, women they're to blame. So it's like, okay, give you this example. Let's say you had another child, right? Your daughter is older than the boy. Now, typically, when you and your wife go away, typically we leave the elder in charge. So you tell your daughter, I'm leaving you in charge, such and such, whatever. She leaves, you come back, the house is out of order. Your son broke the whole crib up. Who do you blame, brother? Who are you checking first? You checking her first. You're gonna check him. Don't get it twisted. But you're gonna check her first because you left her in charge. And that's the point that I'm trying to make. Not that women are gonna be blameless. Hell no, they're not gonna be blameless. They're gonna get checked because the Lord checked Eve. He checked her and he checked her heart. What did he tell her? You're gonna give birth. He put her in subjection. He did all that stuff. So they're gonna get checked.
Sun Tzu.
What I'm saying is we are the
Sun Tzu,
physical
what he did
representation
was he
of the
had,
Most High. We are.
his
This is why the
con-
Lord
he
said
spoke
in the
to
church
a-
that
a
women are not
emperor.
supposed to talk.
Emperor says,
They're
I
supposed
want
to learn from
you, I
their
want you to make
husband.
my troops the best soldiers.
When you look at the church, the Lord don't even
He
count
said,
women, my brother.
I want you to make
He
my
only
best,
count
the best
men.
soldiers. See, I think he said, you said you know something
Why?
about war. He says, okay, I do.
Because we are
He
the
said, give me your
physical
best concubines.
representation
Give
of
two of
the
your best
Lord.
concubines. He said, okay.
So to a certain
You too.
extent, we have to be
You're
held to a
generous.
higher esteem.
Tell the
That's
other
why
concubines,
with the way that cat was
make a
talking,
left turn on
I know
three.
you and I
One,
see the way
2,
you spoke.
3, turn
I've
left.
never heard him
And
speak
then they all
before.
just started,
So I've heard how articulate you can be.
and he
I've heard
said,
how you dismantled people
see,
mentally,
first
dealing
order,
with your words.
when it doesn't go
Catching.
wrong, you blame the
So
soldier.
when you stoop down to his level, I'm like, nah, this
Now,
ain't man time.
give it to the general. He said, you two are generals. I need them to sharpen up
I'm
here.
not that far
Turn
removed.
left.
Sometimes I
1,
do
2,
that.
3, turn left. Hee-yah,
But
hee-yah.
here's the
I'm not
thing.
that far removed. Sometimes
He said,
I'm
now,
not
the
above
second
that.
time,
I'm not that far above it.
when the generals don't do it, it's not the soldiers' fault.
But
It's
when
the
you put on
generals.
that jacket, the same thing I said.
Cut
to
off their
Portland.
heads.
When you put that
He's like,
jacket
wait,
on,
they're my
to
concubines. You
say,
can't.
I'm
No.
gonna be a
You
Christ
gave me
follower,
full
lead
authority
me,
to do what I
brother.
need to do.
I went on
Do I
a
have this
platform,
authority or
they
not?
were calling me, a dude
So,
told me suck his
soldiers
penis
came in, cut off their heads.
on his-
He assigned 2 more women to be generals.
Yeah.
All right, turn left. 1, 2, 3, turn left.
Oh, man.
And turn left.
To him was you an old
And
man.
the
You supposed to be
idea
an
is
elder.
that
And this is what you
the
say.
accountability has to fall on
This
somebody.
is what you
If
say.
men is the first of the head,
Now,
then
again,
regardless of if
I was a
women
preacher,
ransack
I
the
probably
place,
wasn't there
we
too
still
much.
got to take the lead. As a
You know what
team
I'm saying?
leader, my
But
team
there's
ain't gonna
a
listen to
certain
me.
decorum that we're supposed to have.
But when that
The same
falls
way
apart,
I curse on my platform, they're gonna say, "Oh, Bowler, why you?"
that
cursing?"
time I had my whole team. Like we went to
I'm
our next
supposed to be
plane.
held
My
to
whole
a higher
team was gone.
standard. Doesn't mean I don't curse.
I still showed up to the plane though.
I do.
I still showed up.
Show up
Most
like
men now are like,
anyone else.
I checked out.
But my job
I'm
is
out.
your brother, and I love you. Same way I love Courtney, Kay, Rilla, and Lauren, JR. My job is to let you know, brother, you better than that. I've seen you in action. I've seen you. That dude right there couldn't touch you when it comes to having a conversation. When it comes to that. So, again, women are going to get checked. Men are going to get checked. We need to start being more decisive in our answers when it comes to Christ, man. So, and that's the reason when the question was asked to a mirror, what do you bring to the table as a wife? Everybody gave a breakdown, which was cool. When she said, my life, you don't need no breakdown after that.
Sure do.
That said it. Christ is into your yay being yay and your nay being nay. He don't like when you filibuster. He don't like that. We need to stop filibustering in Christ, man. Just say what it is. We may not like it. There's a lot of things that sometimes you may not agree, but the Lord says this is what it got to be, and we got to rock with it. It is what it is. But when we're dealing with the Spirit, we have to stay in the Spirit as hard as it may be, as contentious as the conversation is going to get. Everyone sees who you are, brother. You don't need to boast of what you do.
Mm-mm.
You don't need to do that.
You're wrong. You're wrong, Bolo.
How do you say that, brother?
Well, I don't want to extend the conversation too long, and I don't want to necessarily give away some of my marketing strategies.
No. I'm talking about your marketing strategy. I'm talking about as far as what you do for the community. That's what I'm
no,
talking
they
about.
need to know. They need to know that. They need to know that. They need to know. We're not gonna whisper when it comes to the good things that we do, and then highlight and celebrate all of the other stuff that we do.
Well, I agree with you.
That's bad. We need to highlight the awesomeness, not just.
Good
Not
point.
gonna put that under the rug.
Okay, I'll take that.
Got that, Kay?
Listen, man, with that, I would say thank you so much for having up the platform, man. I love what y'all doing. Continue doing it. Continue having the hard conversations and holding people accountable, and strive to be better versions of ourselves constantly. and all the time. Thank you guys. Have a good night and bless up.
Thank you.
I appreciate you, bro. I mean, brother.
Ooh-wee. Somebody
Black
got
man. All right.
somebody got chewed down.
What's going on, Emmanuel?
How you doing? You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can get loud and clear. Somebody missing.
How you doing?
I got
How long you been gone?
For a long time.
He been gone for a long time. He left with Bolo, and Bolo started.
Somebody's missing. Oh my goodness, JR. What? Keep track of your people. What's it?
What's up, Emmanuel? What are you talking about?
I got a feeling
I
I know
got a
why you
question.
missing. It's this feeling.
So my question is, Courtney.
Really, you listening? Come on back in, man. It's
Yeah,
not gonna be
I
that
hear you,
bad.
Manuel.
My bad,
All
man.
right, so yes, sir. So yes, just to let you know, I love your content. I love the stuff that you say. So I just want to say this is not an attack, but I do got a question for you. So my question is this right here. Say for example, on the other side of the spectrum, say if it was a white man hiring based off someone's race, would we judge him differently if he was just doing it by race? Say if we had a wealthy white man, he was only hiring based on his race and not his values, would that be a problem?
They've been doing it for years. That's expected.
But my question,
That's the norm.
Norm. People,
so
I
you
mean,
said,
go ahead.
well, the reason, let me tell you why I'm asking the question. Because me personally, I feel that you should hire based off character, and the reason that I
Baby,
say
baby,
that
you have been
is
over here
because
nipping the
I
mess
feel
out
like
of
I
yourself.
wouldn't have a
Stop it,
shot
lady.
in being successful.
You ain't gotta nip yourself like
People
that.
on the end of that, and if he would hire some people that might was more of his color and not me,
Olivia,
my character kind of stayed on why he hired me. So as I start becoming an entrepreneur, hiring other people to work for me, I feel that, I feel like I should give the opportunity to who has the best character. Because the reason I state that is that Kevin Samuels did a whole little broadcast. He was talking about how we couldn't even get our women to smile at us, right? And so if I just go based off a person's race and not based off their character, I feel like I'm doing my company a disservice for all the work I put in for the last 6 years. Does that make sense?
I hear you, but I think you missed what he stated on this platform today.
yeah.
He said that he champions Black excellence. So when he was a sales manager,
Wait, talking about excellence.
and he had to create a team,
See,
he created a team
cherry pick.
full of Black folks intentionally,
cherry
but
pick.
they were excellent. That he knew that he could talk to as a
Excellence.
Black man because they would understand.
Excellence doesn't have
They
a
would
color.
understand how he talks.
It has a
and the
performance
culture.
measure.
And I think that's easier.
And one thing he often says is,
because New York,
the world don't owe you and me understanding.
For example, I'm
What
Jewish.
kind of people?
So if
It's full of Black people in New York.
If a
New York
Black
is
man-
one of the high- you don't think
if a
they
Black
have
man
high-
goes onto his
high-
platform and he's
There-
like,
there
you know,
is a
but this
very
is it.
small percentage
He's gonna check
of
him like, wait, are you a high value man? Do you make high value money?
There's
Do
no
you do
Black people
and
on
are
West
you the
Coast,
measure of a man that you I talk about on this channel? Not that are you a high value man by your standard, because we're talking about your standard, then the bar can measure up in any level.
I just
Majority
thought
of Black
about
folks in the South.
I thought about
I don't know what's going on
I
tonight.
don't know
That's getting
either.
kicked from left and right, man. Nah,
Like leaving.
I looked up. I was like, dang, I got kicked off.
I thought you left.
And it's man, nah. And I was standing outside the club, man. I was trying to get in the VIP line. They
You
wouldn't let
couldn't
me
get
pass.
in.
Man, couldn't even get in, man.
Couldn't get in.
Mr. Quinn.
Hold on, Mr. Quinn.
Doing well.
Avoid.
Oh, goodness, again. It's been quite the show tonight. JR, good evening.
Hi.
Good evening. Rilla, no records tonight. Lauren, all right. So there was a conversation earlier amongst the panel regarding parts of any major city having there being dedicated parts to major cities for groups who immigrated to the U.S., kind of a home away from home. For instance, like a Chinatown. And on the outside looking in, these parts of town appear to thrive. And so good to see you. And there's many factors that go into that. There's many factors that play a part in that and that thrive. Common traditions or rituals, common language, a common flag even. And we can throw in common religion and spiritual practices just for
But
good
anyways,
measure.
I was saying,
And for the sake of this conversation,
the
we can call this
definition
culture.
of high value.
Now, my question for those of you on the panel who agree with having a dedicated Black American part of town being a viable possibility here in the 21st century, what would be the common through line? What would be the common cultural bond?
What's the code? What's the code?
Don't all answer at once.
Okay.
So I think that that's a really good question. I think that in terms of
I think I need to
what
get my
culture,
voice
what
changed
blues,
so
I
that
guess
you
could
can
say
approve
that
and
we're
love me
together.
the same way you like
I
that
love
voice.
you. I love his voice,
I mean,
but I love yours
just
too. And I love yours.
Practices within culture
So,
take a long
When you
time to
value
build.
something, you consider it
Black
important
people
and
just
worthwhile. For example,
recently
if you value
got
someone's
free in
opinion,
America
you will
in
ask
our
that
parents'
person's
or
advice
grandparents'
before making a
generations.
decision.
So I think that
Now,
those are the things that we're
here we go.
building now.
The
And
actual
for
definition
me,
of value,
for me,
the quality,
the common
positive
denominator
momentum
is
renders
being
something desirable or
Black
valuable.
in America.
So
Like
now,
that's
an
the
American
overarching
quantity,
umbrella, right?
measured or assigned or complete.
I'm not saying that every single
Now, the
thing
amount
that any Black
of
American
money or
does
goods
is
or
acceptable.
services
I'm not
that
saying
is
that.
considered to be
But I'm
fair
saying
equivalent
that there
for
has to
something-
be
for
some
something
kind of
else.
cohesiveness
Verb.
about
To
us
determine the
being
value of,
Black
assign a value to.
Americans. Like
Verb.
that has to
Evaluate or
be
estimate the
part of
nature,
it.
quality, ability,
Okay.
extent.
Let me ask you this.
Verb.
Do we have a
Estimate the
common
value
language
of.
amongst
Now,
Black
an
people?
ideal accepted
English.
by some individual.
Correct. Do
Verb.
we have a common
Regard
flag?
highly, think much of. Verb. Hold dear. Now, the
Some
relative
people would
duration
say
of
that.
this will know.
The
Now, relative
RGB
darkness or
or
lightness of a
That would be
color.
Marcus Garvey
Value.
that created
Yeah.
the black
Mhm.
flag, the RBG.
There are literally
So he
But-
tried.
11
Okay,
definitions.
but
without the
in the
internet.
21st century, what is our common flag?
Is this rhetorical?
It's a question. It's a question I'd like answered, please.
It is.
And it's on your level, okay?
You said hi to me in the chat. This is what you get.
I mean, I think that the flag should be the RGB. I think RBG, we should red, black, and green in it.
But in reality, the common flag is the American flag.
Well, if that was the point you were trying to get to, why did you ask?
Okay, we're not doing that.
We are.
Okay, I'm a guest.
I know.
Now,
But
okay,
You're here with the whole professional setup and the voice.
I
Like,
have a microphone. and
You're-
some- All right, so
Yeah, we got some other
But
people. so-
here's the thing,
That's a point.
okay? We're black people living in America, but we are American.
But
Yeah.
the
And I
definition
think
of
that we
value
kind of get it
has
conflated
11
because
definitions.
W.E.B. Du Bois said it perfectly in The Souls of Black Folks, talking
What's
about
the
the double
definition
consciousness.
that we
The idea of the
use
double consciousness is that we
in terms
understand
of
who
Christ
we are
when it
as a
comes to
person,
value.
as a people, or
Because
who we are,
Christ has
and
put
then we
a large
understand how
value upon
society looks
man.
at us. And so black folks have
Yes.
a double consciousness. That we know
That
who
makes
we
us
are
high
at
value.
home, but when we get outside,
So what
we
do
understand
do
that we
in
are
return
American,
for
but
Christ's
sometimes
value?
we don't feel it.
We got 11
it's a
So
soul
we-
culture.
It's the double consciousness, and so for us to not understand that, and W.E.B. he said it very eloquently, where it is a double consciousness that black people have. We are American. We understand that. We were stripped from our
And
native
then
land. A lot of us don't
tell
know
me,
even where we belong to and what
if
country.
these high
it
value
is.
men
However, we are
sound
here
familiar
trying to
to
make a subculture of what we should have already
Oh.
had. But then it's
No.
very hard because we understand how we got
David.
here and what continued on with us. And so
Joseph.
we know who we are, but yet we also know how majority of society sees us.
Mhm.
And that is W.E.B. Du Bois, the idea of double consciousness.
Yeah. Oh,
These
Abraham.
questions all
Most
seem
definitely
rhetorical.
Abraham.
If there's a point you would like to get to.
Samson.
just wanted to know what that common bond would be because it was brought up earlier that dedicated parts of town, Chinatown, Koreatown, whatever, they seem to thrive. And if we had something like that ourselves, we would do the same thing. So I wanted to know what would be the common thread that brought us all together. as
The
Black
common thread
Americans.
should be
Mhm.
being Black in America, and we have to
Those are high
start
value men.
keeping up
In
or
their own
recognizing
respective
certain
right. Oh, and
things
Moses, I forgot
as
about
people in general
Black
But
people.
they all.
But we're at that turning point right now. Like a lot of Black people think, oh, we made it. We ain't gotta do this. Everybody could be part of the blah, blah, blah. Like that's what a lot of people are thinking, and some people are still like, no. We really gotta like
value that
get
God
down
has
to
put into us,
what we need
or
to
the
do
value that the world has
and
put
be
into
on
us.
point. And we're really at a turning point.
So it's like it just hit me like
right now.
I was like,
that culture, that those practices, all of those things are being made, and a lot of people are willingly giving them away. So thirsty for somebody to accept. Oh my goodness! Yes, take it from me. And yes, take it. Like it's a thing. I witness it regularly. But we really have to understand that Black is the glue that holds us together, and that we really need to be on point in terms of the betterment of our community for the future. A lot of people are too caught up with, yes, I made it. I'm doing good right now. But it can't end here with us. It can't end with our generation. There has to be something for our kids, our grandkids, our great-great-grandkids, all these people that are going to be coming in the future. We have to think about the future. We cannot continue to just think about today. Like that is what's been going on. And that is why, even though people be like, oh my goodness, Black people can do this and that. But it's been generation after generation that we got to take the torch that they passed to us. People in the 50s, 60s, 70s, all that built something. They built it and they passed it to us. And right now, we sitting up here, and I'm not saying me, but we general, a lot of us are sitting out here saying, well, you can do whatever you want if you're Black. No, we're not done. There's still things to do. And I think right now we're just at a turning point. We can't drop the baton at this point. Like there's so much more to do.
It's quite hard to get some more people on.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. Appreciate the time.
Man, a Greek man, an Italian man that's gonna get up here and talk the same way that brothers have been up here talking, and women get up here and talk and say the same thing that you have said tonight?
I didn't do it.
The thing is, let me say, I hear what you're saying because.
Pause, Ms. Jackson, pause real quick, and I promise you, I'm gonna bounce out because Courtney know how I get, and I'm on one right now.
Calm down.
I am, but listen to what I'm saying, sis, and please take it with please take it. The thing of it is, we sit up here saying how we can learn from everybody else, and what we don't even realize, the culture that we trash. We sat up there and said, hip hop culture is trash. Do you even know today is the birthday of hip hop and where hip hop even comes from? That's from the youth saying we're going to create our path. Why are we looking to them to tell us about us? The men are supposed to create that. That's why y'all can't follow, because we won't lead. Facts. And you sit up here and you say, well, we should look to a mirror. And I'm not clowning her. Listen, man, I said plenty of time. I thought that was dope. When that sister got up and she said, man, look, I got to go tend to my husband. When she get up there and she say all those things, man, I'll rock with that. I'm objective enough. I'm objective. You understand what I'm saying? But I love
I hear you.
He was.
I hear you. I hear you.
That means that we have left you behind.
Yeah.
You're not speaking from a man. You're not speaking from the perspective of that you're under the covering of a man. You're not speaking from that perspective. You're speaking from the perspective of, I got to think logical, and I got to get out and hustle and move because I got to do for me because there's no man here. And if you could do You dig what I'm saying?
Yes.
Hey. Hold on, that turn.
Matt.
How you doing, Kay?
Hey, you couldn't wait to empty that clip.
Hey, Rilla, I was confused what was going on just now. I'm like, what the?
Yeah, I was like, what?
Hey, how y'all doing tonight, though, man?
Hey, turn that YouTube off in the background.
I don't have the YouTube on.
Again, the echo.
It sounds like crickets.
Yeah, I'm outside. I'm in the gazebo. My wife's sleeping. Yeah, she's sleeping. She can get up. She got a long day tomorrow. I'm off, man. I'm usually on the truck when I get with y'all, but I'm home tonight, and so I gotta take my festivities outside. You feel me? Hey, man. I'm gonna keep this short, but Rilla, we good?
I hope so.
Okay, yeah. Hey, listen, man. Real short. Hey, Anton, I ain't gonna go in on you too much. And peace to you. What's his name? Bolo already spoke on it a little bit. You and bro was tripping. You and bro was tripping tonight.
Sometimes you need some chaos in order to get clear things out.
Yeah, no doubt. I ain't tripping off that. I'm just saying with bro talking about he gonna take you on the front lawn and blast you and all that. And
he was tripping though.
We talking about,
he was straight up tripping. I was like,
with black culture and everything like that.
He was tripping though.
Message and the image that
what's the boy name?
So however that got there,
Hannibal Lecter. He on one.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know what that was, but we were just trying to have a more constructive conversation. But I just wanted to speak to the code, and I wanted to say that JR and Anton, all you guys,
you see him on the street.
Kay, Courtney, I'm glad to see you here, Courtney.
Girls, it.
Yeah, no doubt, man. You know, I came on last night. I'm so glad to see you. Yeah, I'm so glad to see you here because
that text I seen you, did that help?
We talk about culture, right? And we talk
the first one, because I was like, not first one, but like,
clear, a code is
that later on I was like,
rules and principles.
Some told me to send this,
right? So it's what we're governed by, right? As far as black people. In the last caller, he spoke about what bonds us.
Did it come like right on time? Like it was.
And we talk about this thing called
was it like?
trauma bonding.
Oh, he's so nice.
I love from I don't know if it was from the 90s or the early 2000s. It was on HBO. It wasn't even a movie. It was a series. It's called Band of Brothers. And I did a study on the joint called Band of Brothers. And what banded them together as brothers, they were all from different parts of the country. I think it was World War II or World War I, whatever it was. But what banded them together was the trauma that they were experiencing. They were sitting there and they were watching each other getting their legs blown off, getting their arms blown off. Whatever was happening, they were going through it together. And as black people in this country, I think it's important to realize that when we got here, we weren't all from the same tribe, right? We all spoke different languages. Some of us sold each other out because, you know, we didn't care about what was going on in this tribe. And it's even happening in Africa today. It's over 50 countries in Africa. And those countries are still at war today. And one tribe or one village doesn't necessarily care what happens to the next village or the next tribe. So that's one of the things that Anton and I agree with. That's one of the things that we can.
Fucking paper.
We can call that trash. That's one of the things that pervades us today in America is our tribalism. We haven't let that go. And we have to understand that the one thing that we all have in common as Native Black Americans is that we have all experienced the same trauma. We all went through the same systemic racism that everybody talks about and all this, that, and the third. We all went through that. And I am one of those people. I do know people that my great-great-grandmother came over on a slave ship. And I talked to my elders. My elders are 92 years old. As a trucker,
so it came as soon as I said, like you said that.
And they told me, like, my great-great-grandmother, two things she didn't allow.
It was weird was I said, some told me to send it.
She didn't allow the color red in her house. And the reason she didn't allow molasses is because that's what they fed them on the slave ships coming over here. The reason she didn't allow the color red in her house is because that was the only thing that she could remember coming over here from Africa is the red color, red flag on that ship when she came over here from Africa. So she don't play that mess. So I am one of those people who can trace my history back to slavery. But what you guys are doing with this platform is you guys are setting the culture. Our culture is trash. And I get what Anton is saying. And Anton, correct me if I'm incorrect. But I told you guys last night I'm a former gangbanger, right? The reason I'm former gangbanger is because there is so much cancerous ways and actions in that lifestyle that is intertwined with the good, that it would be best for me to throw the whole thing out and just start over with who I am as a person. Now, I can't lie and say that, you know, I was a Don Move, right? I'm from Jersey. I was a Don Move. I can't say that there was nothing redeemable about that culture. Like I told y'all last night, I never met my dad. You know, I grew up in the hood. We bounced around. We were evicted from every place that we lived at. I can't say that there's nothing redeemable about having a group of brothers and men to show me and give me some type of discipline. And when I disrespected my mom, they jumped on my ass. I can't say that there's nothing redeemable about that culture. But then when I look at all of the death and destruction and the what do you call that? The deceit in the culture and how we'll sell each other out. Listen, I gotta say that the bad outweighs the good. And Tupac said, and that's my favorite rapper, he said if the lifestyle you live in got you taking more losses than wins, then that lifestyle needs to stop. And God asked me that question one day, is this how you want to die? And I said, I don't want this to be my legacy, a lifestyle of death. So what I'm saying as Black people, we have a culture that what we champion, what we push forward, what we put to the world is not so positive. And there's more that we can do to push forward with the positive, and we need to focus on that. But the culture in itself, we might need to just throw the whole thing away, take from the past what we can push forward with, and then create something new. Because that's the gift and the curse of being Black in America. We came here with no culture, so we don't know what to do.
Yeah.
The gift is okay.
You don't throw the baby with the bathwater. You can't do that. Even though there might be some stuff that we need to work on, you don't throw away history. Now, unfortunately, as Black people, we've had to go through different types of cultures. We had the slave culture that we were immersed in for 400 years. That's all we knew and didn't know any better. And then once we became free, we had the Jim Crow culture. And we had to learn how to maneuver within white folks, but, you know, with Jim Crow laws. And then we had to learn a whole nother culture. But unfortunately, with that culture, it allowed us to assimilate, where it made us lose more of our culture because we didn't protect ourselves or our own. I watched on Netflix, I posted it on the Facebook, High on the Hog, where it talked about soul food and the essence of what it really was. And the idea, and it's so funny that we think that we're so far removed by our ancestors, but we really aren't. We really still do some of the stuff that our ancestors do, and that documentary showed me so much. They was over there frying fish, but when they fried their fish, they had to have something like tomato based with it. And in the South, if you know, on a Friday night, grandmama cooked fried fish and spaghetti. And so, and it was like, oh my God, they do that, and they've always done that in Africa, and we do that to this day. I'm fixing my home fried fish and spaghetti. Don't know why, but it was an essence that made me so proud, because I was like, I still have something that I can connect to, even though I don't know no one in Africa, but I still have that tradition base. Even like making gumbo and how you taste it. You don't taste it from the spoon. You put it on your little arm and you lick. That season good. That's African based.
Well,
so you don't throw out the culture. You have to work within it to make it better.
Okay. And you cannot just get rid of all the history
that we've been through and done. And
no one else wants to get rid of their past.
No one said get rid of the history. We have to
bring us to the final point.
I'm not saying that we throw away our history. History is where we come from. Our culture, what I'm speaking of, is the rules and code of conduct by which we abide today. Where we are today, our history, we are so far removed from our history that Courtney
and Kay just said this though.
Kay, you just began to speak of. We are far removed from that.
I just said that.
Aside from the good food that we enjoy, we also had a sense of community. We also had a
Right.
sense of village. And you guys actually
No.
right here on this show are starting a culture, right? Because you guys showed how you had a disagreement. The family had a disagreement. You guys got into it. But guess what? You all are sitting here on this panel tonight, and you guys were not coming at each other's throat. You guys agreed on some things and you disagreed on some things. That's not culture for us. For us, culture is, if we disagree, I gotta go kill you. If we disagree,
That is what we do, though. It is what we
The
do.
media has told you. That's not black culture.
This is what I'm saying. And even if we go with media, I heard
Bruh,
you guys talking about
Incredible
women,
Pizza.
You know, do we create our culture? Love and Hip Hop, Housewives of Atlanta, Housewives of this, that, and the third. That's a black woman managed show. That's not that. I forget her name. I think her name is Lena.
Come on, y'all. Let's go outside.
That's the black culture.
Better get some couple more gas, y'all. We gotta get
Hold on, let me clarify.
this.
Hold on, Kay. Okay, Atlanta Housewives and all, that's
Come on,
fine.
Nene. Come on, bye-bye.
Okay, Mona Scott is an
Right,
executive
Mona Scott,
producer
that's her
on VH1, right, and she has a couple shows. That's, but in the entirety of all the networks, Mona Scott got a few. And then in the day, no, we don't own it. So we don't, but this is what I'm gonna say, this
We
is,
gotta bring.
let me say this to you real quick, because you wanna throw everything away. But our culture, what
I'm
you're,
gonna throw everything away.
the ignorance of
You're
some
giving
of,
everything negative to black culture. You cannot.
Kay, please, Kay. The ignorance of some of us, this wasn't perpetuated over hundreds of years. The ignorance of what we have seen that's been on TV or stuff has been within 20, 30 years. We've been in America for a hell of a lot longer.
Over 400
And again,
years.
what I am basis of saying solution based, we're talking about solution, is that we don't go and look at other cultures and pick and choose what's best. We look at what we did in the past and where we were together, where we were the highest rated as far as getting married out of any other culture. At 80%, we were married. Let's look at what our parents and grandparents did within the 50s.
Right there. We gotta move on, man.
To bring it to a close, JR, I'm not saying throw everything away. I'm saying that when I bought my house and we redid the basement floor, the previous owners had some dry rot on the floor, right?
Mhm.
I didn't throw the whole foundation away, but what I did have to do was go in, tear up the whole floor, bring in new plywood, new 2x4s, and then I was able to build a better floor. So I'm not saying throw everything away. I'm saying that we erase everything off of the board, and then we take from our history, our past, and our heritage, the things that work, and we start from there, and we continue to build like Legos. We don't keep trying to just build on this faulty foundation that we keep trying to look over. No, it's a faulty foundation. We've slipped so far from our ancestors that they wouldn't even recognize if it's recognize it if they came back today.
Or you're just looking
We
at
gotta
the
carry,
most
we gotta
negative
move on.
parts
Go on to the next person.
of black.
Hey, peace,
All right, Matt.
peace, man.
Good
Good to see you again, Matt.
Good to see you as well.
You know what I say? Throw it all away. Start over.
And we got,
New kid. Start all the way over.
we got like 4 more people in this.
Throw the baby out. Throw the bathwater out. Everything out.
What's going on, True?
Keep it
Keep it brief, man. Keep it
Hi,
brief.
Drew.
To keep it brief, okay, I'm gonna do what I can. I appreciate what you guys are talking about tonight. The energy is amazing. There's a lot to unpack, but I'm gonna do my best to keep it condensed. I think one of the main points about our community is that we have a tremendous amount of trauma, pain, and our community is not good at, one, getting over that pain and that trauma. We still have existing people now who have experienced the Jim Crow era, and a lot of those practices were passed down. One of the main issues I see compared to that is pushing back on what Bolo was talking about, is I agree with him to an extent that we need to hold the men accountable. However, I also agree with Anton in saying that the women do need to be held accountable. If we're gonna align with Christ, as he was stating, then the men being removed out the homes, the men being removed out the neighborhood should not derail women from following Christ first. before they follow men, in my opinion. If our community was still in the church and following for Christ, we wouldn't have babies out of wedlock, we wouldn't have the dismay that we see now. So that was my only issue with what Bolo's response was to the collective, is because you can't just isolate one thing. The truth is that our community suffers from being socially engineered, and the conditions that we've had to survive in the past as well as now, they're still existing. We glorify trauma, we glorify struggle, and it's very rare that as a collective, we want to see us thrive as a collective. We're fine with individuals thriving. We're not fine with the collective thriving. And that's what I wanted to add to the panel thus far, to keep it brief. So I appreciate you.
Real quick, you
Sure.
know that biblically, God mandated the husbands to love Christ as Christ loved the church.
True.
Christ didn't say that to women. She told us to love our man, our husband. So I think we get it in a lot of prophecies, and will be non-married, but married to the church, and that's out of order.
Well, I agree with what you're saying to an extent. I more so was, and I'm not disagreeing with you wholeheartedly. What I'm saying is that, one, just to keep it brief, we cannot have babies being born without women first committing to that being a possibility. And if we were governing our lifestyles through our women from what God states in the church, you would understand that you wouldn't be having premarital sex. That would be impossible. One of the things that stood strong in our community mid-century was that women had a standard, regardless of the economical foundation or whatever. Men understood, in order for me to participate in the act of sex, I have to marry you. That is no longer a stated thing that we practice now. Our culture perpetuates hot girl summer. Our culture perpetuates twerking, and that's a problem. Our men are not the one perpetuating this. That's our women. And you cannot say that, okay, men lead. We have to have something to first lead, and have to have willing participants to do so.
Well, we can say that, but women aren't having sex with themselves.
This is true. This
So
is
men
very
are
true.
partaking in, I mean, you know, and they are, who's liking the twerk videos and who's watching it? It's not women, it's men. So we
Women
both
are
have
biggest
to-
consumers. I would definitely agree. Women are biggest consumers, hands down. Numbers don't lie. You can't
Biggest
say that it's
consumers of what?
decimate of media, of anything
No.
consumer based.
What I'm saying is that IG thoughts.
Mhm.
Who's liking them? Who's giving all this simp behavior? I'm not going on IG thoughts talking about girls twerk it in for me. I'm not doing it, okay, Lauren? No, but
Well,
JR be liking them all.
You said what?
Why you gotta put that?
I thought you got rid of that feature.
Oh, ooh, pull up on, pull up on.
Oh, that was a pretty good one. That was a good one right there. I gotta give you props on that one.
But again, to keep it condensed, Courtney, to answer your point, there was a time that I do remember, even in my age, that even if men were not heavily involved in the church, women did stand by the law of the Bible. They understood that there was still a maturation of, okay, you know what? I'm gonna stand for Christ. I'm gonna hold the standard. Now, I'm not removing the responsibility of men, but as a man, I will tell you that it is fairly difficult to lead a tribe of people who are not even willing to follow. You can stand out on the corner all day, but if no one is buying what you're selling, I mean, you're the army of one.
I don't necessarily agree with that though. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I think that your tribe find you like at the in the very beginning, like you got to be the priest of your own home. Like you got to clean up your backyard first. I mean, even in the Bible, it'd be faithful and little, and then you rule over much. You know what I'm saying? So the idea is to show yourself faithful prior to being able to, because he don't want to give you a whole tribe and then you lead them down a path of destruction. Right? You got to first show yourself to be worthy of more responsibility, and very few people are able to really handle that responsibility. So we first, like your tribe will find you, but first you have to be the person that you're supposed to be in order to attract the thing that that you are.
That I do agree with. But more so, I was speaking to Bolo's point in regards to holding men accountable. Like I stated at the beginning of my point, our community as a whole is still in the process of getting over pain. And I believe that there's a toxicity that exists heavily.
I got a trash can over there. We could just dump it.
I do agree that we need to reset the image, the Black image. And I think that the fact that there's not one that exists, a core idealistic viewpoint, when you think of Black people, the image that pops into most people's head is one of negativity, unfortunately. And that has a lot to do with media being the powerhouse that it is.
You know what the honest to God truth is, bro? I'm gonna be honest with you. After all this talk and stuff like that, for the next 100 years, you're gonna have just as many, if not more, poor Black people than you ever have before. I don't see things getting better, bro. There's gonna be a further divide, a bigger gap. And honestly, I just see it like the people that choose to move differently are gonna get the results, and the people that stay in that headspace, I just don't see it. And that's my opinion. Obviously, it's just my personal prediction. But I think that if you look at how things are going historically, even over the last 30, 40 years, that's the trend. Things are getting worse than they ever have before, and so you literally are going to have to divide yourself against a certain mentality in order to be successful or even survive. We didn't even talk about thriving. We talk about surviving.
All right, so we got our next person, man. We got to try to close this on that.
Where's the flag? Shout out to Buttercup. Where is it?
Hey, look at Kay looking confused like she don't know what you're talking
Okay, I got one for you.
What are you doing? I don't understand. What's wrong with you guys? I'm Kay. Look, I'm Kay.
Roach looks like.
Like that's what I was gonna Google it, but then I didn't want to.
You should have Googled it.
I should.
But your effort is great.
What are you guys talking about?
Yeah, I love everything.
Right?
Yeah, I appreciate you guys so much. You know, one of the things about like Black America that just amazes me is that just diversity. You know, because like Courtney, when you were talking, I just thought it was incredible because I never knew about like the South, and I'm from Philadelphia, so like the you know like the fish and like the spaghetti, that wasn't like a part of like our story up here. Yes, it's like such a so I just learned, and my question honestly was more about like what do we think about the future was going to look like in like the next like 100 years, but what I guess what do you guys think? Like Anton, you already kind of explained it, but like what do you guys see for us, like the vision?
So what do we hope?
Who is us?
We hope. Yeah.
Who is us? Ain't no us. It's them. Not Anton.
I would hope to see cities of Black Wall Street. That's what I would like to see.
Okay.
Get me up out of there.
And I would like to see us
Mustache.
back like in the 50s where, mom and dad in the home, Black folks marrying each other, 8 kids, mama making some good soul food, aka Southern food.
That's bad food, Courtney. That's bad
On
food.
Sundays, little jazz music.
Soul food is some of the worst food. That's
It is not.
available.
Because in order to call
It
soul
is.
food bad, you gotta
Anton,
call
what about
Mexican
greens?
food, you gotta greens is popping.
Listen,
In
you
order
talking
to
to
call
a
Anton,
guy.
what about greens, Anton?
You talking to a guy that owns
Anton, what about greens?
several soul food restaurants. Don't throw it all away.
Oh, you
Owns several soul food restaurants. You know how difficult it is to drive out to get out all of the bad stuff in order to try to make that stuff happen. Decent for people to eat, bro.
Greens is my favorite. But I mean, it's
Just because y'all like it don't mean it's good.
Here's the thing.
I like that. You throw everything else away, man. No greens.
Soul food is Southern food. So that's what we have here. And anything that you do over in excess is going to be bad. So in order to call soul food bad, you got to call Mexican food bad. Be eating them big old burritos all day. You're going to
I agree.
Italian food, call it bad because those loads of carbs and sauces.
I agree with that too.
soul food is American food. In essence, we created it here. But go to McDonald's, Wendy's, Taco Bell. American is gluttony, period.
Yeah.
But it doesn't
Overexcess.
necessarily
So
make
we
it
need to
bad.
let
It's
it
like
go.
saying cake is bad. Cake is not necessarily bad and not gonna give you heart disease. It's how much
Yes,
you
it
intake
is.
of it. It's how
But
much.
it's still bad.
Not necessarily. You don't die off of having a piece of cake.
Nobody
You
is
not having
limiting,
a whole
limit,
piece of
nobody
cake
limits
where-
me.
I gotta bring somebody else on.
Nobody limits me to the amount of broccoli I can eat. Nobody limits me to the amount of water.
If
I
you can overindulge in water.
Nobody is trying. Yeah, come on, Courtney. Are we gonna be real?
Man,
Nobody's overdosing in water.
you, I heard of that.
But I know a ton of people that's diabetic.
Yeah, well, that's ain't your fault. You can't blame the
Oh, it's
food.
not.
You blame the
He said,
person.
Oh, y'all hear me? Hey.
Hey, real quick.
Real quick. Hey,
Please,
I'm
last-
gonna keep this real simple. I'm keeping
You're
it
not
simple.
about
I
to be
respect.
starting on me with a better camera.
Nah, chill out. You don't have to say better than Batman. Chill out.
I'm not participating on this.
You look like you in a
I'm just messing with you.
No, I'm in my living room. I edit and stuff. But honestly, I try to bring things back to the basics. I respect. You know you did put me on the big screen, bro.
Oh, buddy.
Chill out, man. Chill out. You said short. I'm trying to keep it short. All right. I like that y'all are waking up a little bit. I appreciate the smiles. I greatly appreciate it. I respect you all.
Mine ain't even came, man. Yeah, he got a sure mic and everything.
Hold on. I respect you all. Okay, let's start off with that.
Hey, you're somebody. Who are you? You're somebody.
The ladies, you got the ladies' attention.
Y'all ain't gonna let me ask that question. I'm looking at the screen now. I need to look at y'all. Can I ask my question?
He got the laptop up. It's blurred in the
I
background.
couldn't move it nowhere else. I get rich like you. I ain't got space. I put it in the corner. It's in the corner. I'm in my little corner, my hot corner. But honestly, I respect you all. I want to start off with that. I really believe where we're messing up at is let's say our skill sets.
You up, man.
Our skill sets and respect for each other, one another at all
You're
times.
over here fucking biting her lip, bro.
Oh Lord, Anton, you sleepy? You
I'm
sleepy?
not gonna lie to you.
See, you know, that man gets tired of fighting. When he ready to go home, he calling his Batmobile. He calling Batmobile. He going home. He calling her. But it's just respect. It's very simple. It's respect for each other. We've lost that because of money and the value that we placed on it. People care about money more than people. We only care about others when we need them, so to say, like a doctor. You don't think of a doctor until you're sick. You need something, right? You should respect that person at all times, even if you don't know what they do. You should naturally respect them. We have lost respect for each other, even in the household. That's why these kids don't know how to respect the father, and they grow up, they disrespect their mothers. Then they disrespect people in the streets. Why? Because they learned from in the house. Mom never respected dad. Dad never respected mom. I go out in the streets. Oh, I'm grown, right? We think we grown at 14, 15, 16. You get a little money, then what? Can't tell me nothing. I get my first place. I pay my bills. I'm grown. That's not what it means to be grown. You know, that respect should not be an option. It should not be an option. It should be an automatic. We can't ask for respect if we don't respect ourselves at all times. That is a standard. Once we do that for each other, nobody else can disrespect us. Hold each other accountable at all times. But I would like to thank y'all for putting me on here, but that'll be it for right now because y'all been showing out tonight. But I greatly appreciate it.
All right, Daywan.
I already got my girl.
Don't be put my government name out there, girl.
You got it on your IG.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Traffic.
He out here in front of the Bentley. I'm not even coming back up until you leave.
Yeah, you got.
Thank you, lady.
Four.
Anton, I paid you very good, sir. You fighting a good fight, man. You chose the heel. You fighting a good fight. Boy, let me tell you, I can't do it. But I'll put you up there. I'll put you up there, you know. But I ain't going up there with you. I'm gonna go halfway and come back down. When you go to Steve one, boy.
Yeah.
I see you, man. I see the mentality. He's taking on the thought provoking side. So that's why you have to respect each other. You have
Man, do me a favor, bro. All right, I'm gonna DM you the question. All right, I'll just tell you to ask it. Ask Kay what has she done for the black community.
Oh, she's doing it now.
What?
She's doing it now. Did you say she had like some pet roaches or something like that?
Oh,
She getting them all big and small. Then when they leave and they flutter out into the city, you know, to go to other people's homes and procreate and they're doing a favor.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting it, man.
Yeah, that's it.
Man, they got names?
Yes.
What kind of camera?
Maddie and Scar.
Maddie and Scar? Oh.
Yo, what kind of camera you use, bro?
Sony A7S3.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a real camera. Because everybody else here just looks regular. Meanwhile, you look like a movie set.
Oh, I got you.
It's a lot of different elements at play. Okay, it's the whole background. You got the light in the front, you got the light in the back. That brings the image, makes the image stand out more.
Go ahead, Darryl. Tell him. Go ahead, tell him. You know. You know. I see you when you got that. I see you.
Listen, my camera is a good camera. I just upgraded on the low.
Pettiness, hey, you serving y'all right now.
I just gotta fix my settings.
He did have the best camera.
You see that reflection in the back of his head? You see that light? That's a professional light you got right there.
Look like Jay Sparrow.
It's a quick
Yeah, this is on the fly, man. I see it failed. So next week I'm gonna come back better, man.
I got it's not working like that. Hold on.
It's already working like
So are you men?
What's wrong with my settings?
Jealous?
What's wrong with my settings? I don't know.
You look like Jay Sparrow. Have you ever heard that before?
No, I
You look like Jay Sparrow.
Hey, trying to embarrass me.
Like y'all DM each other. Outside of here, I gotta bring somebody else up.
All right, appreciate it.
I just got this camera. I paid like $1,500 for this.
This camera is on point.
I just need a different. I just need a different lens. I need a different lens.
Yeah, it's all about the specs, man. Yeah,
hey, my camera's crispy. I don't know.
Man, you put your finger, you did your little thing in the camera to like prove it didn't work.
Excuse me, Kay.
Oh shit.
Excuse yourself, Kay. How about that one?
Don't do that. Don't.
We gotta feel these people. I know y'all tired, man. I'm looking at Lauren. She barely.
I'm about to go to sleep.
Good. On the floor.
If Courtney want to laugh, and she'll be give me that look too. Like,
hi, AJ.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah,
So I've been listening for a while, and you know, I listened to a lot about the Uncode. I'm 25 years old, so my experience with like the Black community and all this kind of stuff, I've been kind of on both sides of the fence. I've dealt with a lot of frustration with dealing with feeling like the Black community is done. What's the point of even dealing with it? And then I thought but also taking pride in different areas, So the idea of Uncode, I understand, of course, both sides of the fence of whether or not there needs to be any Black code, and whether or not there not needs to, whether or not you should just do a code of ethics of we're going to judge you off your character, not your race. We don't care about, how you look or what the color of your skin is. However, I do want to pose the question or maybe even pose the idea that you got to function in the environment in which you're living in. So we're currently within a society in which we didn't really create ourselves, but we are still living in, and we still have to reach our own levels of success. And with that being the case, then we are going to have to, kind of play by a set of rules that may seem like short, like in the long run, petty, but I think that they're necessary. So I would just like to bring up the analogy of, like, I know Courtney speaks a lot about, every other culture, every other society, every type of grouping has a level of code, which is true, and I agree with that. And Anton, of course, speaks to the idea that there should just be like more of a code of right and wrong, and I rock with you if you're right, and no, I don't care about what you look like. But if everybody else, if the world is functioning as Courtney says, in terms of everybody else is running off their own code, but then after that, we're trying to, I guess, be morally above everybody, but on the totem pole in every other area we're below. I feel like that we're gonna sign ourselves up to fail, because when you take the moral high ground, usually there are a lot of ways to target. It's like if everybody's armed and we decide, well, weapons are used to harm people. So I don't want to harm anybody, so I'm going to go unarmed. But I'm in a society where everybody else is armed. It would be stupid for me to walk around unarmed. Even if I think that being armed is bad, I can understand the value of being armed until we can create an environment where this no longer needs to be the case. So I do think that there is value in each side, but I think that it's more about a long-term and a short-term goal versus it just being, oh, we got to do one now, and we can only employ one way and we can't employ the other way. I think it's more about looking, how long do we need to do this until we're at a place and then we don't need to do this anymore, you know?
Divest, get away from them. Divest yourself.
You're very mature to be 25, AJ.
Oh, thank you.
Salutes to you.
And so you too smart to be around these earthy people, bro. Listen, if you were listening, here's my advice. If you run into any chick that talk about I wear black, so they put their hair in afros, they walk around with a whole lot of beads on them, and they wear red lipstick.
I wasn't looking at you.
Pull up on.
I literally was not looking at you, yo.
You're not funny. I'm tired of you, and I cannot. And you just okay. Just watch yourself. Let me just say that.
All right, so do me a favor. Honestly, give me one favor. Text Buttercup and ask him how he feel about me.
I'm into this, bro.
Hashtag Buttercup. Everybody gonna be calling him Buttercup.
Why are you saying Buttercup?
Because he's soft on the inside and nice and light on the outside, and he's squishy, and he's Buttercup. He's my little boy.
What are you on the inside?
You really want to know?
Yeah. Ain't nobody got time for that.
All right.
Look at JR coming to save you.
No,
don't play the sound.
He's saving me. Listen, I'm all for Buttercup.
She wants to know how you is on the inside. I don't know.
How I am on the inside?
That's what Kay wants to know.
You got to tug and pull to find out. You got to tug and pull to find out.
Kay, I'm not gonna say it, but go ahead. You go ahead and continue with the conversation. Go ahead.
You still want to know what's on the inside? You still want to find out what's on the inside? What does that mean? Are you disgusted? How many of your friends are you gonna bring on here? You got, let's see, Fooly.
Ooh, I didn't even know Fooly.
Fooly, Buttercup.
I never knew Fooly. I don't know him.
Josh.
How many of my friends? In fact, JR brought Josh. Fooly, I don't know him. So let's just be honest. What's going on?
You don't know Fooly?
No.
Y'all had the same hairstyle.
So? And no, we didn't, because he has locks, I think, and I have a fro.
Okay. All right. Whatever. It just so happened that he's earthy and he aligns with you.
What does earthy mean?
Y'all from the same city.
We got to filter through.
I just wanted to say one more thing. I do think that it's relevant that we I understand that a lot of people come up with points and they have to we reference the Bible a lot, and I know that not everybody, of course, believes in that. So if at some point we would be trying to create a mutual common ground, I don't think religion is the way to do it, only because it isn't something that everybody is a part of. I mean, I myself used to be Christian. I'm not anymore.
What are you now?
I don't have a religious belief. I like to study the history of religions altogether, but I don't subscribe to any singular religious belief. I'm just kind of the idea that I have to focus on the life I'm living right now instead of
I had a
like
real bad
maybe
everybody
too
was
much
talking
focus
about
on what
3
we
hours a
what
day.
we made at the beginning of the universe, only because there are answers that are in my day life.
Where do you base your ethics and principles at?
I just base my
That was dramatic.
I think a lot of what I initially like growing up, I always tried to do what I believed I would want done to myself. But there is an aspect of that where I still see flaw, only because like
What's wrong?
we live in a world in which people
What's wrong?
That nose on fire.
Way much you're intelligent, and you can really kind of assess the situation that you're dealing in, and then have to move accordingly with the environment, and not so much of just what you idealize or how you idealize people to be.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So yeah, so and you know, I of course, like from my Christian background, you know, I was baptized, was in the choir, usher, like I was heavily into the church growing up. And you know, there are aspects of it where I do find value, like even in biblical stories, I think that people can take value from, because they're just life lessons to be learned in all different types of cultures, you know, whether it be whether it be something in the Bible, or even something that maybe our ancestors prior to colonization practice. So, you know, I also do find it interesting that I know Courtney brought up how practices, even with food, that are references to our ancestors back in Africa. But then after that, we also reference the Bible a lot, which is not necessarily an ancestral book or an ancestral belief system. So I don't necessarily know at what point do we decide we're going to draw the line, or where we're going to kind of champion beliefs, and then after where we're going to say ancestral beliefs are inappropriate.
No, Christianity is back in Africa.
Okay.
Back in Somalia was actually where they created the first Bible. So it actually is African based, and majority of countries in Africa right now, I mean, if you can say colonized or not, but they are Christian.
Okay, but even our ancestors, because like say for me personally, you know, after getting my own ancestry done, I know that I'm primarily West African, primarily Nigerian and Ghanaian. My mother is she's from England, but her family is Jamaican, and my father is from America all the way back through slavery. So but that's where majority of my blood. That is where majority of my bloodline comes from. So even if we were to say Christianity comes from Somalia, I may not be Somalian. So like if I were to say, so that's why I'm just talking. I'm just.
Well, yeah, well, that's where down. But I think it's very interesting when we say, well, that's not the religion of my ancestors, but majority of us don't know who our ancestors are, and because like Anton said, we're mutts, we're mixed with a whole lot.
Yeah.
So which one are you? Because there's hundreds of different religions in Africa. So we say, I want to practice the religion of my ancestors. Well, which religion?
Well, no, I mean, me personally, if I were to practice the religion of my ancestors, it would most likely be Yoruba. You see what I'm saying? So it would be
the Nigerian side.
Primarily, because that's the majority of my ethnic background. You see what I'm saying? Like that's where I have the highest percentage in my ethnic background after doing my own ancestry. You know, so that it would be, I would say, Yoruba first. I don't necessarily know. I know that there are certain like say parables of Jamaicans of like say stories of Anansi that come all the way back from Africa. Mm-hmm. That's when they took over the boats with them. And Anansi to them is he was intelligent because of the fact that he was a spider, and he would get himself out of situations with elephants that were with animals way bigger and stronger than him. There's one particularly with an elephant and how he outsmarted an elephant, but he was seen as a warrior. And I believe they even have a statue where you see the spider near the warriors to represent Anansi always being with them, even when they were brought over to lands that weren't their own. So that's all I'm saying. I'm just saying that I don't think that religion is the proper common ground for us to step on, only because, like I said, me myself, I don't practice any specific religion, you know? I think that there's value in all different belief systems, but I'm not one of like, I just align myself with strictly the Bible, or I align myself with strictly anything. I'm just like, I don't know, and that's fine by me.
Well, I do know some Nigerians. Hey, maybe tell me, lucky, but 50% of Nigerians are Christian.
Okay, do you believe in God?
You believe in a higher power.
don't know what the heck.
But
that
even,
means.
but Courtney, even to your point,
I believe in higher power.
even to your point, Courtney, of course we know that even like, so like even within our stand.
We can do a real deep dive, but just
I
pick the
know.
final.
Hey, I like this conversation though.
Yeah, it's a good conversation.
Yeah.
And also-
We can't break it down.
Brother texting me, and, bro.
He just doubled on you, bro.
Listen to what I text you, but Jay, I'm sorry.
You know, but I am trying to be mindful though. I mean, I know we still got it.
AJ, you not about
AJ,
to,
I definitely appreciate you, man. You are very intelligent, very woke with a lot of different things.
hey, take your ass to sleep. Don't be coming on here at 3 a.m. trying to show us up. But you know I'm a C student. I'm not going for that tonight. He said I would practice Yoruba. I said, what the fuck? Let me bow out of this. Let me bow out of this conversation.
JR, that is not what I was texting.
Oh man, I didn't know, bro.
I just saw you
Bow out of this conversation.
You crazy, man.
Not about to make me look bad at 3 a.m.
This is the last one, bro.
I feel like I had an excellent show tonight.
Oh, we
Last one,
Hey,
Oh,
Wouldn't be a night without JB.